Hi, this is Kate from Izzalicious Designs. Today, what I thought I'd do is break down the little Tiny Tot dolls into sections. So rather than in our videos where we're making the next round of princesses and whatnot, rather than having to go through every single step with you, I'll be able to link back to certain generic parts of the project and just tell you what colours to use. So for example, in this video I'm going to show you how to make the basic head. Now this is going to be the head that we start with anybody that has hair in this particular style, which for us is going to be our princesses. So I will refer to this as the head with the hair, and as we do our individual princesses or designs or characters or figures, that's when I will say, okay, so you go to this particular video and I'll link this one, do your head, and then we will in our video do the adaptations to make it modified for whichever we're doing. So let's get started. As I said, in this particular video we're doing the head down to the neck section, and it is the head with the hair. I'm going to choose two colours. I'm going to use black for the hair because I think it's very visually easy to see, and the skin tone, and that's what we will use to do this. I am also going to use my clip, my stitch marker. I have a little locking one. They're made by Clover, but you can get any kind of stitch marker will work. You can use a bobby pin, you can use a C clip or an S clip. It really doesn't matter. I also like to use a 2.75mm crochet hook for my Loomigurumi projects. That's just the size I prefer. I find if you use a smaller hook, I have a bit more control and I don't stretch the bands as much. Now, for the head, the basic head, we're going to start by using a magic ring of 6. So I'm going to have 6 little bands here and one for my hook, and you're going to wrap that around once and twice like so. Now if you don't have fingernails and you can't pull this apart and you're finding magic rings are a little tricky, I've got a tips and tricks video on the 3 different ways you can make a magic ring, but this is always quite an easy way. Just pop your little marker, your stitch marker or your bobby pin or whatever you're using in that little end cap that you've made here. Take your first band and pull it through like so, and then you're going to take one over the other in a little slip knot. That is your first stitch. Okay, then keeping this loop on your hook, you're going to go back through that 3 little loops for your end cap here and draw back a second band and pull this loop here through these 2. You can do it one at a time like so, or you can just pull it through both at the same time. Back through that end cap and your third band, pull it through and go through the 2 loops through those 3 bands of your end cap, and we keep doing this until we've made our magic ring. You can take that off if you want. You've now got something to hang on to, and this will give us a magic ring of 6. You can count these little stitches here: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 is actually on our hook. Go through that first stitch. Now we're going to do an increase in each stitch, so that means because we've got 6 stitches and an increase is 2 stitches in each stitch, we're going to have 12 stitches, so you need 12 bands. So let's do our first one. You're going to do a single crochet. This is our first stitch. This is where we're going to put our stitch marker to indicate that that is the first stitch. Go back into that first stitch and do a second single crochet. Into the second stitch, and you're going to do 2 single crochets, 1 and 2, and that's, as I said, called an increase. Third stitch, 1 and 2. Fourth stitch, 1 and 2. Fifth stitch, 1 and 2, and the 6th stitch, 1 and 2. That has given us 12 stitches. Count the first one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. Our next round we're going to do a single crochet followed by an increase. Alright, so first go in through your first stitch, single crochet, and move your stitch marker. Now the next stitch, we're going to do an increase, so that's 2. Now this is going to increase us from 12 stitches to 18. Okay, so there's 2 stitches in that stitch, a single stitch in the third, and 2 in the fourth. Single crochet, increase. Now you would do this the colour of the hair that your character needs, okay? So if you were doing Elsa, you would do a blonde colour, or I'm actually using Mother of Pearl for that, which works quite nicely. If you're doing Rapunzel, you'd use yellow. If you were doing Belle, you'd use brown. So you pick the colour of hair. So I'm doing black as the hair, okay? And my last stitch here, and again we will finish on an increase. Whoops. Let's count our stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 and 18 is on my hook. Now we're going to count to stitch number 9. This is number 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and this is 8, and this is 9. Go through the 9th stitch. If you can, just use a skin tone to mark it. Now if you don't have another stitch marker, that's why I'm suggesting using a band. If you have another stitch marker, you can put a little C clip here, or an S clip, or another stitch marker if you've got one. Completely up to you. Now this is to indicate that we're going to either side here start with our skin tone. So our next round, this round is going to be 2 single crochets followed by an increase. So go into the first stitch, single crochet, and in the next stitch, single crochet. In the next stitch, the 3rd stitch, you're doing an increase, which is 2 single crochets in the same stitch. So 1, 2, single crochet, single crochet in the next stitch, and then 2, 1 and 2. This stitch here is number 7, so go in number 7, single crochet. Now either side of this stitch here we're doing a skin tone. So that was first single crochet. In this stitch here, this 8th stitch, we're doing a skin tone, and we have to do a colour change, so we're doing a slip stitch that goes through the stitch, add that loop to it, and one over the other in a little slip stitch. The next stitch, which has this one in it already, is an increase. So there's our first one. Go back into that 9th stitch for your second single crochet. Okay, and in the 10th stitch, it's a single crochet in skin tone. The 11th stitch is single crochet in black, but it's a colour change, so you have to do a slip stitch. So through the stitch, add the loop, and finish your slip stitch. Now we're doing an increase, so that's 2 in black, 1, 2 single crochet, single crochet, increase, 1 and 2, single crochet, whoops, go through both loops, 1 and the second single crochet in the next stitch, and then you finish on an increase. Now you should have 24 stitches, so let's check. And remember, you don't count your slip stitches, so let's count here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 is that last black stitch. That little one here is the slip stitch, so this is 10, 11, 12, 13. There's your little slip stitch, so that was 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24 is on my hook. So that is right. And this is how we're doing our face, okay? So now we're just going to be doing 8 rounds of single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. I'm going to put my little pile of 8 black bands here, and that's what I'm going to draw from. Okay, now take your first one, and we're doing single crochet. There's our first stitch. Move your stitch marker, and the trick to this is to do your single crochet in the colour of your hair up until the last stitch before the face. So we do single crochet, single crochet, now as you can see, this black stitch here is my last one, so I've got one more here to do, like that. This one here is my last black stitch. This little one here that's at an angle is my slip stitch. So this last stitch we're going to do in skin tone. It's going to be a slip stitch because we're changing colour. So add the loop to it, complete your slip stitch. Skip the slip stitch in the previous round and go into the real stitch here. And you're going to do single crochet in each of these skin tone bands, even in this last one. And now you're going to miss the slip stitch here where you have the colour change, go into the real black stitch, and again you're colour changing, so it has to be a slip stitch. Pull it through, add the loop, one over the other, and now you do single crochet all the way to the end, or end back to your stitch marker. So that was our first round of 8. Now you should still have 24 stitches. You're not increasing or decreasing. You're just doing a colour change. If you suddenly hear a herd of elephants running past, don't fret. We have 3 little kittens, and they're not really well, they are kittens. One's 4 months old, and the sisters are 6 months old. But they sound like a little herd of elephants as they play chasey around the house. Okay, next, take one from this little pile here. This is the 7th. That was the 2nd of our 8. So change your stitch marker to that stitch. And we're going to do the same thing. Black bands until we get to that very last black band before the skin tone. And we do that very last black band as a skin tone. and that allows us to widen out the face. So here we go, my second to last black band. Here's my last one right here, so that's going to be a skin tone. So we have to do a slip stitch, add your loop, complete your slip stitch, miss the slip stitch where you had the colour change, go into your real stitch, and we do skin tone in each of these skin tone bands. Even this last one. The trick about the last one is that this pulls over to this next stitch, which does the widening. Skip the little slip stitch, go into the real stitch. You're doing a slip stitch because you're colour changing. So through, add your loop, and around we go to the stitch marker. In through the first stitch, move your stitch marker, and I'm going to do, this is going to be the last one I do with you, and we're going to do the next 5 by yourself. I think you should be fine. Single crochets. Oops, through both loops. So here's my last black stitch here. Push my hook through. I'm going to do a skin tone, slip stitch, skip this slip stitch here and go into the real stitch. We do a skin tone in each of these skin tone bands. I'm using the Rainbow Loom skin tone. You'll find them on the web store in the silicone band section. So here's my last skin tone. Skip your slip stitch, go into the next black stitch. You're doing a slip stitch because you're colour changing. And let's go around to our stitch marker. So for the next 5 rounds you're going to do exactly the same, okay? And when we have both done that, we will catch up together and we will start the neck, the decreasing for the neck, and we will do that together, okay? So as I get around this little head, you should still have 24 stitches by the time you finish these next 5 rounds. After this, it should still be 24 stitches, and that's what we're going to do our decreasing. So let's check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, skip that. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, skip that. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24 is on my hook. So we have 5 more rounds. I will meet you back when you've done your 5 rounds and I have done mine, and we'll do the neck together. So I'm back. I've done my 8 rounds of single crochet, and now we're going to do the next 2 rounds as decreases. So the first round of decrease is going to be 2 single crochets followed by a decrease. So here's our first stitch. Now as you can see, our first stitch also happens to be the last black stitch of that round. So we need to change colour to a skin tone. So single crochet, which means basically because it's a colour changing one, we have to do a slip stitch instead of the single crochet, like so, and move your stitch marker, skip the slip stitch. Here's our second single crochet, if I can get the bands apart, followed by a decrease. Now I'm going to do the hidden decreases, so I'm going through the back loop of my next stitch and the back loop of the stitch next to it. Single band, pull through those 2 stitches in a normal crochet like that, and that pulls those together. And then we do single crochet, single crochet, and we're in the skin tone. And now we do a decrease again. So this first stitch, there's your second stitch next to it, and pull those 2 together, one over the other, and join. Single crochet, single crochet, another decrease in these 2 here, join them together, single crochet. This is our last skin tone here, so we know that the next one is going to be colour change. So skip the slip stitch into the real stitch, it's going to be a colour change, single crochet, but it's actually, as I said, a slip stitch. So there we go. Now we do a decrease, and we've changed now to black, single crochet, single crochet, decrease, single crochet, single crochet, and a decrease. Now this is going to be tricky because you have one here and one here. Now if you look, this is the last black stitch, and you want to do a colour change. Let me grab it, there we go. So we want to do a colour change here. So taking your skin tone, you're going to put a skin tone through those 2, but it's a colour change, so you have to add that to it as well. Alright, and there's your slip stitch, and we're back here to our first stitch. Now our first stitch in this round is going to be a single crochet followed by a decrease. So let's do our single crochet, move our stitch marker. Okay, see how that's moved in like that? And now we do a decrease. So the 2 back loops of the next 2 stitches, pull them together, and now we do a single crochet and a decrease. Single crochet and a decrease, single crochet, still in skin tone because it's that last stitch. Now we have to do a decrease, so skip the slip stitch, and you're going to do a through the back loop, but it's a colour change, so it's going to be a slip stitch with a decrease. So pull through those 2, slip stitch, add that one in, and there we go. Now we do a single crochet and a decrease, and a single crochet. Now if you have a look here, you can see we've got a mix match here. We've got a back loop, which is the last black band, then a slip stitch, and then this is the last band in our round. We're going to have to use a skin tone, and it's a colour change, so you add that to it, one over the other, and that is our last stitch, okay, of the head. Now we have to do the neck. So to do the neck, we're actually going to work in what's called the back post. If you need a little bit more help doing the back post stitch, in my tips and tricks there is a short video, just a couple of minutes, on how to do it. It's very clear, very close up, very precise, but I will do this with you. So we've just gone through this stitch here. We're going to go back through this stitch from the back to the front, and then pop out through the next stitch, this first stitch, like that. And if you can see, it pops out these two little loops of band here. That is the post. And we're going to take a single band and pull through as if we were doing a normal single crochet. I didn't do that very well, but there you go. There's your band that's on that post. So you'll do your normal single crochet like this. We'll move our stitch marker. Let's do another one. So from the back to the front, and then from the front to the back. And we're doing single crochet in the back post all the way around. And we've got someone coming to say hello. Hello there. I can't see the camera while you're climbing on my shoulder. Little kitten just decided to say hi. Hello. You going to get on the camera and show everybody your face? No? Maybe she's camera shy. So we're just doing everything in skin tone. Here you'll find that we have the slip stitch where we change colour. So as you go through that skin tone, you skip the slip stitch and you're coming up through the real black stitch, and it's quite bulky here. You've got 4 loops that you've got through here. Don't worry about that, just go through like normal. Okay, we can get away with a multitude of sins using loom bands instead of yarn. And we should end up by the end of this with 12 stitches. Now we've got another change of colour here, so let's make sure we're going to do the right thing. We go through the black slip stitches here, which we're going to miss. Here's our real stitch. There's the 4 little loops. Pull through, and let's count our stitches. So we have 1 on our stitch marker, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 is on my hook. Okay, we're now going to go into this stitch with our stitch marker and do a single crochet. Move your stitch marker to that stitch, and our next stitch is going to be an increase, and that will be the pattern around. So we'll go single crochet, increase, single crochet, increase. Now you will have noticed that I've added eyes. They are the toy safety eyes, and you can put them together, snap them together before you put them through the bands. Fiddle around until you find a place that you feel is correct on the face. Kind of like them a little above halfway, I guess, but it's completely personal preference. And around we go. Whoops. Ooh, firing them everywhere. And I would suggest counting your stitches after you've done the neck, just to make sure that you have the right amount. And my last stitch, spread them around so that they're evenly spaced. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I'm sorry, we should have 18. I'm saying 24, we should have 18 because we've gone from 12 plus 6 is 18. So that is the little head. Okay, I'm going to just attach my stitch marker to that particular one. You could put another C-clip on there, whatever you like. As I mentioned, this is the base head. I'm going to zoom back out again. This is the base head, and it will make up a variety of different dolls as the pro forma. So for example, I would start Ariel with this colour hair. It's done exactly the same way. I would start Elsa with this colour hair and Anna with this colour hair. Okay, Snow White would have black hair. So this is the pro forma for my hair with the little faces on them. Okay, so I'm going to pause the video now and we'll end this one now, and we will do our next little portion of the Tiny Tots, which is the arms next. Take care, and if you like this video, please subscribe and give me a big thumbs up. Thanks so much. Bye.